Me van a salir.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the stream. Thank you for joining me. It has been a little while since I've had the opportunity to go live, unfortunately. But now we're back and hopefully we'll be back more often again. Today, we're going back to my favorite, possibly my favorite game, definitely one of my favorites. And it is Europa Universalis 4, because right as I managed to get myself a little bit of free time this week, it was also April 1st, and the devs of two of my favorite Paradox game mods, Anbennar and Equestria at War, did a April 1st crossover event. Now, EAW has done crossovers before, I'm pretty sure, with a few other mods, but other Hoi 4 mods? I don't think Anbennar's done one before, and I don't think it's done one with Hoi 4 mod, so this has been very funny to see. As I understand it, we've got Celestia coming to Anbennar, if you play as the Jadari, and Jadar going over to the EAW world, which is absolutely hilarious. And I'm greatly looking forward to seeing what exactly they've done for this. Now, as far as I understand it, literally the only thing you need to do to get started on playing the crossover is fighting Zocca's army with the Jadari army, with the appropriate generals in charge. Right, like we start at war, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is... Okay, to break the spirit of the servants of the darkness, Jadar must face Zoko on the battlefield. So our army over here, we do start at force limit, led by Jadar, and then Zoka's army needs to be led by Zoka. And then literally after that fight, we get thrown into the April 1st content. I don't know what form that takes, so for the time being, I'm just going to proceed as normal, and then we'll see what changes happen. Right, we do start with them as an ally, though they're not part of this war. We have this mission for permanent claims that's automatically completed from being at force limit. We'll hold off on any of this. Decisions, we can disable. Celestia will no longer spawn. No, we want Celestia to spawn very, very much. That is what we're here for. These, we're not at peace, so I can't seize Crown Land. That kind of sucks. Let's set up all this as I usually would. Yeah, get ourselves the Monarch points, give them these so that their equilibrium is higher. I know that there are more optimal ways of doing this and other people have different preferences, but I usually just go through and do, yeah, the Monarch point one, then this one, and then usually I also give, what's it called, supremacy to the nobles, which, yeah, they can call agendas whenever, but when you've got so many estates, you'll be able to pick one of them that's easy to complete, and then I can just sit there until just before the timer runs out, as long as it gets the equilibrium to above 50%, so you can always be seizing Crown Land. Oh, this is already at 50. I don't think we need to give them anything. They're at 0 now. Normally after giving these out, I'm at 5 or 10, it depends on what country and what mod I'm playing. Like, it's a little more harsh here. Oh well. Money-wise, not exactly swimming in it. 2.28, let's hang on to that for a moment and see how our situation changes after taking that fight. And then we'll decide what else we need to do. For a moment there I thought we were gonna freeze right from the get-go. Why is it inventory? Oh, I don't want to lose 50 admin power. So we're gonna have to go with this. Is that him? Elena War Wizard, Bold Fighter. Well, both our leaders are very good. Our army is a little bit bigger, so we should have the upper hand here. And we do. Okay. Oh! Okay. Yep. Celestalia. Very nice flag. Princess Celestia of Equestria. Religion Celestia worship. Culture Desert Elf. Powerful mage, kind-hearted and benevolent. There we go. This has all gotten reset. We're at 55% Crown Land. We do have religious state. Interesting. Alright, let's have a look. A brave new world. Celestia was falling. This was not something particularly new to her, but what did surprise her was how fast it had happened. One moment she had been in Canterlot getting ready to celebrate the new year, and the next there was a flash of light as she had been thrown downwards through the air. Spreading her wings to steady herself, the sands below her came far too quickly for her to catch herself mid-air. Instead, she slammed into the ground, sending up plumes of dust that obscured everything from her sight. For a few moments there was nothing, but as the sands cleared it became clear that this was not Equestria. Celestia did not see ponies, instead there were strange bipedal creatures, ones with pointy ears who stared in shock at her. But that was not all. On the other side of her were more bipeds covered in fur. Bodies of the two species lay all around her, signs of battle she had not witnessed in many years. I'd be curious what crossover point they chose. I assume it's like right at the start date for EAW, so before all of the wars kick off? But the third creatures were not staring at her directly, but rather at one of her hooves. Celestia looked down to see the body of one of them, perhaps their leader, with its head gone under her hoof. It was at that exact moment that a phoenix, her dear pet Philomena, came down from the sky, giving a magnificent cry from above Celestia's head. Oh, that's too perfect. She does have the pet phoenix, which, fitting it into the lore of Anbennar, it's a very strong omen. The pointing at one's scarce, and some looked skyward at the bird, while others pointed at the sun and Celestia's flank. Slowly they all knelt, saying strange words the Alucon could only pick up on a few of. Sanagir Suriel, Slayer of Zucker. The conflict seemed to be forgotten. The third ones moved back, away from Celestia and the corpse of who she assumed was Zucker. Stepping backwards, she realized one final thing. Her connection to the sun setting in the distance was gone. Or perhaps it was not her son at all. As she turned to one of the creatures who knelt before her, Celestia asked the first thing any reasonable creature in her situation would. Where am I? Okay. So her chaotic succession 000 with a strong claim becomes heir. Alright. Disband all regiments. The uncored conquests and subjects of Zucker will break away, so these guys, these are tributaries, not vassals, but I assume they'll be lost as well. And uncored conquest, what land do they hold that they haven't cored? Anything around the edges of their territory? No? Oh, up here, right. This is new land for a fair bit, isn't it? Jar gets Jadari into Regnum as well, also 000, and we seed, or rather they seed Ibutsu to Elana. Where is that? Ibutsu, there we go. Is their capital. All current and future provinces producing slaves will instead receive a random trade good. And in the event, those who follow the light happens. Alright, we get more story. Right, Zucker loses that up there. We have Antimon's conquest against... what is this actually? Eliana. I do have a bad habit of occasionally glancing over a name in this mod and then really mispronouncing it. Let's just make sure Celestalia, we put our own name correct at the very least. 4k troops left over here, oh, not great. Our capital is also a random bit of desert. I mean, it was a random bit of desert or mountains before. Okay, we will need to look over all that as well in a minute. Those who follow the light. At first, Andrelion Jadazur could not believe what he had seen, his father Jadar losing the fight against Zucker, the despair of the Legion as defeat seemed certain, and most of all the second son that had appeared and brought forth a winged unicorn from the sky to destroy the scourge of the Salahad. And yet, here the one named Celestia was, sitting across from him in a desert tent. She had stood as tall as he did and carried herself with unmatched grace. Celestia had begun with simple questions for him, where she was and who they were. The war of light and darkness led by the forces of Zucker and Jadar, his own name and his history as the firstborn son of Jadar and the new leader of the Desert Legion. The following questions, though, required answers he did not have. He did not know how she arrived or fell from the sky to smite Zucker. He had never heard of the land she called Equestria or any possibility of how to return there. Most of all, he certainly did not know what Celestia was or the term Alicorn she used. "What were your soldiers calling me?" the mayor asked as Andrelion sat patiently across from her. "They called me Surel." Those who witness your arrival believe that you are Surael reborn, and that you have come to bring light, order, and peace to Bor. You have the son of Surael upon your flank, Sanagir at your side, and magic unlike any we have seen. You saved the Legion from a certain defeat at the hands of Zucker. There is no denying it. The warrior bowed his head. You are the light, and we are here in service to your mission. I'm desperately curious if Luna or Nightmare Moon are going to make an appearance somewhere in this mod. That would be incredibly funny. Celestia did not respond for a few moments, and Relian's heartbeat quickened just a bit. Perhaps he had done something wrong? But Celestia only nodded slowly and rose up to leave. Very well, she said. If this place needs peace, then I will do my best to bring it, as I did at Equestria. I will start by talking to these gnolls. Andrelian instantly shot up in alarm. You cannot, he exclaimed. The gnolls follow the darkness. They will surely attempt to kill you if given the chance, and nothing will stop them if they discover you are Surael reborn. Without Zucker, they are disorganized, and we could push them back west with your aid. No, Celestia answered firmly. I will give them a chance. Fighting is not the only way to achieve peace, and if I can end this bloodshed with words, then I will do so. The elf moved to stop her, but froze upon seeing the sun pictured upon her once more. Very well, he acquiesced. We will await your return. You'll save us from darkness. General Andrelian Jadizer, 2642. Yes? Becomes available for duty. The event, a pact sealed in friendship, happens. Okay, we are really getting it with the lore, I like it. Zocker, son of Zocker, had faced many trials over the 15 years of his life. Ever since he drew breath, he had been fighting for his very existence to prove his worth. He had slain all his brothers, earned his place as next in line to lead the pack. He had lived in constant fear of his father, serving in his shadow, and now he was dead. A being stronger than any Gnoll had seen had effortlessly killed his father in his moment of triumph. Now it had been seen heading towards his camp. Zucker was certain that the horse-like creature was nothing less than a demon of unimaginable power, and there was no telling what it would do if it arrived before. I am told your leader here? I am told you are the leader here? The voice behind Zucker was warm, but filled him with nothing but dread. Turning around, he saw the creature standing in front of him, at least half a head taller than he was. Yes, he managed to speak. I am Zucker, son of Zucker. You are Zucker's son? The horse's eyes softened. I am sorry, I did not mean to kill your father. By the time I realized where I landed, it was too late. Zucker's utter terror only grew. If this being could kill one who made pacts with the strongest of demons by accident, it could certainly wipe out every gnoll in all of Bulwer if it desired. He turned her attention to the half-finished pies nearby. What are those for? For you, of course, Zucker stammered. We do not have the sacrifices ready, but the shamans are preparing their rituals right now. The creature shook its head. I do not need sacrifices, son of Zucker, it said with a hint of disappointment. I would much rather have your friendship. Friendship? Zucker had never heard of the word before. It must have been speaking of a contract. Of course, he said, pulling out a dagger and cutting his own paw to let blood flow onto it. I pledge my pact to your service. Where you command, we will follow. I act as your loyal... He struggled to remember the final word, resorting to guesswork. Friend. The creature smiled. I am glad to hear it, son of Zucker. Its horn glowed, and a cut upon Zucker's paw healed itself. I hope to see you again soon. Disappearing in a flash of golden light, Zucker examined the cut which left no scar, and with it he could not help but wonder just what he had given the demon powerful enough to need no sacrifice. You'll give the pack strength. Zucker, declare war on Celestia with the Celestalia with the monstrous conquest, Casus Valley. That doesn't sound like friendship. Why do we have to fight them? Okay, they have no troops, but they've got manpower. We have some troops and we've got back all for manpower. That's not great. The Sandfang Gnoll Celestia worship Master Recruiter Zucker, the follower of the sun, joins your court. Alright. 75% cheaper for your country to employ, very nice. Gains Sandfang Gnoll as an accepted culture. We're Desert Elven primary culture. We are Empire ranks, so we've got all the elves. We've also... Okay, we have the Masni... What is that? M-A-S-N-S-I-H. Masnsi. Masnsi? I'm gonna go with that. As a non-accepted culture. And now we get Sanfangnol, gain plus on max promoted cultures until this culture is demoted. Ugh, the water-clad noise. Horrible. Horrible, horrible sound. You could set that as my alarm, I would be awake instantly. Because the only time you ever hear the someone's declared on you noise is when your campaign has gone horribly wrong, or when you are deliberately pulling in a coalition. And I am not good enough at this game to be fighting coalitions deliberately. Now then, to where and back again. How many? Event something old, something new happens in 3 years. Okay, this is the last one. Celestia had gone on many adventures, fought all kinds of evils, and protected Equestria for over 1,000 years. He had mastered all kinds of magic known to pony kind, learned through trial and error the duties of a true princess. He had wielded the most powerful artifact she knew of to imprison an avatar of chaos and even her own sister. She raised the sun and the moon, keeping balance between day and night itself. And now Celestia had none of that. Her inherent magic was weak, in constant conflict with the native magic of this realm. The sun and moon were silent, controlled by forces beyond her. The sister was gone, no doubt forced to rule alone in Equestria without her. Oh, that's another thing. The crossover event has Jadar ruling somewhere, some nation somewhere. Is he being sent to Equestria? Is it going to be Jadar and Luna on the throne together? I'm going to have to play the other side of this mod as well at some point. And she was stuck in this strange world with no way to get home. Perhaps to many, such a situation would seem hopeless. But she did have one thing. No matter what strange things this world had, Celestia knew she still had friendship. She still had harmony. And most of all, she had the tenets of the elements of harmony to guide her way. Through honesty, loyalty, generosity, laughter, kindness and magic, she was certain that answers would be found in time. And with her newfound friends by her side, the elf Andredian and the Null Zocker, perhaps the way home would yet be in sight. There was still much to do. Answers would not come to her on their own. She would have to seek them out, to find where they hid and relearn the magic this world had to offer. And of course she could not abandon the cause of her friends either. If this land desired peace and an end to bloodshed, Celestia would do whatever she could in bringing that future about, as she had in Equestria. And who knows, perhaps she would find more friends along the way, more creatures who could help her find her way back home. The sun was slowly rising again over the horizon. It was a new dawn, a new day, infinite possibilities to explore. Celestia stared at the horizon for a few more moments before turning around to head back to the elves' camp. She had been a teacher for so long, guiding others along the way. Now it was her turn to be the student once more. It was time to get to work. Celestalia gets Celeste... Holy crap. Tongue twisters. And that's misspelled as well. Celestalia gets Silesia studying, that should be Celestia studying I assume, until the end of the game, giving the following effects, -2 in every power. Great. And in 3 years time something old, something new, which will hopefully remove that modifier. Until then, we are not in the best situation, are we? We're still gaining okay amounts. 563? Could be better, could be worse. Age 1197. I forget how Anbennar handles the long-lived races. I haven't played in quite a while. If they use the immortality trait or something else, he does not have it. Nature cover by subject? No. I have no magic? No. We're actually talent and abjuration, proficient in everything else. I don't think we really have the resources to throw around right now for studying in the other magical arts, but that's definitely something we'll want to get back to later on. I can make states. We have the incomplete control of our capital state, and then 2 extra provinces. This is gonna be cool. A merchant. I'm gonna be collecting from here, and this feeds there and where exactly? The Gulf of Rahan, and oh, I think this just goes here and then turns upward. Is there another trade node here? Okay. I think there's another trade node in between here. There shouldn't be. There might be one for the... Yeah, I don't know. Can't I see where this is? There we go, I could just mouse over this. This is sending forward to Eastern Salahad, which is this one. So it does just turn around here. Okay. In that case, this is probably going along here into there, and then this is going around here into there. Let's transfer trade power with the other merchant. We're making 0.3 money. It's god awful, so we cannot afford... this right now. Oh, actually, we can get Zocca follower of the sun. Because he's really, really cheap. Alright. That's that, that's this. Let's not touch these until we've looked at the missions. Celestia worships. Ability cost modifier, whatever. Tolerance of heathens. Province governing cost. Minus 20%. That's pretty nice. Something finishes Celestia. Very good. Celestia Asura Reborn. Okay. Idea cost, minus 7.5%. Invite no scholars from any. Has this land all been converted? It has. Okay. I imagine there probably won't be other subsets? Maybe. I don't know, it's hard to gauge how much work they've put into this for an April Fool's joke, you know? Like, something Princess Celestia... oh, government reform and then mission. Harmonious Empire. Celestia's harmonious empire is ruled by one single principle. Friendship is magic. Does not have heirs, fixed to empire rank, rulers can't be generals, prohibits switching government type. Promoted cultures. Promoted culture cost minus 50%. Okay. Fairly straightforward. We are a religious government. Alright. Anything else before I look at the... Oh, national ideas. Core creation cost, nice, love it. Province war score cost, oh, love it. For our ambition we get governing capacity modifier, AE impact, missionaries and missionary strength plus 3%, good. Promoted cultures, I assume we're not getting the Jadar, the Jad Empire mechanic where we have a Mughal culture integration thing. Trade efficiency, manpower recovery speed is nice. Construction costs, national unrest is pretty good. Discipline is always good. All power costs 7.5%. Nice. Okay. Missions. Zocca remnants. One of the following must be true. Zocca have an army smaller than 1,000. All own provinces is not controlled by... Zocca does not exist. And then we get... Ilsenzocker gets Zocker slain. I assume that's a province. Yeah, their capital. Ilsenzocker gets Zocker slain for 25 years. Local missionary strength, local missionary maintenance, so we can convert it quicker. All provinces owned by Zocker that are controlled by Celestalia will be ceded to Celestalia and will also have Zocker slain applied. Once converted to Celestial worship, former Zocker provinces will become fully cored if already a territorial core, and otherwise will become a territorial core. Furthermore, all separatism will be removed. Celestia gains a permanent claim on Aspazur. Celestia gains a permanent claim on every province owned by Zala and Koratha. Oh. Okay. Trying to remind myself quickly of the difference between a fully cored and territorial core. I mean, full core is this, and then territorial core is you've just not paid for it yet. Okay. The other one, Dari does not exist. Any army, current location, owned by Dari, army led by general named Andrelion Janizer. All provinces that Jadari owns will be ceded to Celestalia with a territorial core and no separatism once Andrelion Janizer enters the province. Once Andrelion has rallied the entire Desert Legion by walking through all Jadari provinces, 6 units of Jadari skirmishers will spawn in our capital, and we will get the following modifier. Desert Legion rallied force limit, cavalry cost, cavalry to infantry ratio. Okay, that's a fascinating way of doing that. The Anbennar mod team really does keep finding really interesting ways to interact with EU4's mechanics. So, the Jad army, somewhere around here, will get him for a general, walk to a province, we get a province, they get black flagged, walk to their province, we get it, etc, etc, until the entire thing has been absorbed. Alright. And in the meantime, we gotta occupy as much of Zocker as possible. Are we at force limit? No, we've only got 1,000 extra manpower. Grab that. Oh, we have the guy as a general. Okay, hang on then. Any army. Current location. Owned by Jadari. Led by him. Right, we need military access with you. Okay, let's have our actual army get another leader. They can go and start occupying, and in the meantime we'll take that 1k to walk around and step on all the other provinces so that we get them. So slightly different than how I thought, but still interesting. With a family of a country, you must decide what kind of magical institution you have to offer. Major organization guilds will be granted to you, magic which does the following. Leave them to themselves, land of adventure, or chronicler grants. Institution spread, innovativeness gain, mercenary manpower. Basically done. Mercenaries. We can't seize land again because we need to be at peace, and I have to go and redo all this real quick. Aside, primacy, right to council, land of commerce, Greek enterprise. I think we can avoid going into debt for the time being. 36%. Where's quest rewards? We can use another 5. But for the national unrest and not having provinces get the negative modifiers from stuff being there, down to 25%. These guys, patronage, maybe. Only 5%. 0.5. Let's hand out supremacy. Alright, where are we sitting? You guys are good. You're good, just about. You're not quite good. Well, if they're at least close, it's still fine. 49.9. It should go up a bit as we get some prestige going. But for now, that's all good. Diplomats should not be sitting idle. Where do I send them? Obviously, no one's going to ally us right now because we're at war. And then afterwards, we're going to have pretty hefty penalties from being a different religion. We probably want to take religious ideas first and get the CB that comes with that. Allied with the Jad, they're gonna get absorbed. Henijanash. If they can hold themselves together, really good ally. But the only time I've ever seen them hold themselves together is when I was playing in this area and wanted them to fall apart. The command, of course, is going to be a huge problem, because that's what the command does, be a huge problem. And we can't see far enough east for the people I would like to ally to fight against them. Sariant? Elisna? These guys are probably a pretty decent bet. The government is not allowed to make roll. Yeah, these guys are probably a pretty decent bet as far as an ally goes. Sarian is going to be interested in land that I'm interested in, but we've got looked as a buffer between us. I don't want to really deal with them. Everyone else around here I want to conquer. So this will have to do. Alright, you grab him. And let's get this show on the road. Hopefully they don't have the money to do anything about this until it's too late. Encourage the community. No, give me trade power. Okay, that just flipped over immediately. No? Any army co-location? Yeah. All provinces that Jadari owns will be ceded. Oh, we only have to go to one of them. I think I've misread or misunderstood this this mission reward like 3 separate times now. Alright. Make that 4 times. So now that the mission has been done, we should hunt that army down before they have the opportunity to gain more money, refund progress, stability. Ooh. With the point of stability. Now that the thing is done, I've received the mission reward. Excuse me. That entering Jad provinces gives us the hands them over to us. So we probably want to try and convert and save ourselves the admin points over here for the Zocca land. Yeah, we're gonna get there in, like, a country or 3 then, aren't we? Not even gonna need to piece them out. Once they have no army and all own provinces are not controlled by them, we click that, and as a reward, all provinces owned by Zocca that are controlled by Celestalia, which will be all of them because that's the mission requirement, will be ceded to us, and we'll have Zocca Slain applied. and once converted to Celestial worship, former Zoka provinces will become fully cored. So if we can deal with the overextension for long enough, we won't need to pay a single point of admin to get all of their land cored, and it will remove all separatism. Alright, yeah. Hunt their army down before they have the chance to make use of all that manpower. With that. We'll currently have 2k sitting around somewhere. Don't like that. There's one. But we also have 1k here. Oh, and they've got separatists. The Kickstarter estate. Words are words. Lose 20 or lose 10, it seems pretty obvious which I would want to pick. Oh, and now it's 1.7 versus 1. Well, both armies are locked in, so what can you do? Huh? And somehow we won that. Absolutely no right for that to be happening, but here we are. Since that army is tiny, let's split up our forces. Where are you summoning these dudes from, You just get them out of thin air? We really need to run all this down and get the 6k troops from the mission. Okay, with 2 really good generals, we should be able to squash their army here. Good. Alright, now you walk all the way along here. And you guys keep occupying. 3k manpower left, 2k troops deployed. This should tip in our favor in the long run. Grab that. That. Well, and we'll call all of that. Alright, now you head over here. That's 2.5k. Ah, the Legion rallied. Calling the past few months busy for Andrelion would be a heavy understatement. He had travelled across what felt like the entire length of the Sarahand, pulling together the Desert Legion after its total disarray following Jadar's disappearance. Excuse me. Word did not travel fast across the sands without a messenger after all, and he doubted many would believe the tale of Zoka's defeat unless it came from the son of Jadar himself. Sometimes he couldn't believe his own words when he spoke of a horse descending from the skies like a second sun. They were still skeptical, as any reasonable elf would be, but Andrelion's reputation kept him from openly disputing his word. Either way, any doubts had been banished when the legionaries had finally seen Celestia in person. This is the Legion, Celestia noted as all the desert elves stood at attention. And I assume you are their captain, Andrelion? Jadar was the commander. However, now that he has disappeared, you are correct. Leadership of the tribe has fallen to me as his eldest son. The Alucon gave a hum of thought. Reminds me of the Royal Legion of Cloudsdale, she mused quietly. Certainly more effective than the Royal Guard, at least. Clearing her throat, she turned back to Andrelion. How are they in combat? If they have an equal on Halan, I have yet to fight it. The cavalry are second to none, and their charge into the battle will rout any foe. Cavalry? Celestia tilted her head. What is that? You have never heard of cavalry before? And any effective army requires it. They are the finest of warriors on horseback. Andrelion suddenly remembered exactly what he was talking to. Ah, I can see why you might be unfamiliar with the concept, if all in your worlds were like you are. You mean... Celestia finally understood. A smile appeared on her face, followed by a small bout of laughter. Yes, I suppose it would be strange to see a pony riding a pony, wouldn't it? Well, as long as they are effective in defending us from threats, I suppose. Very strange indeed. You will be able to recruit Jadari skirmishers and eventually Jadari horse archers. Remember to switch to this unit type. Vestalia gets Desert Legion rallied until the 1st of Castellac 1496, 20 years, giving the following effects: land force limit, cavalry cost, and cavalier infantry ratio, and we get 6 Jadari skirmishers in Pura Haran. And we get 6k manpower. Have a look-see over here. Jadari skirmishers and Jadari horse archers. And what do we currently have? Cinder Valka Dezeen. 2 and 2, and these have 3 and 3. Nice. Our army professional was also at 41%. Pretty good. One last province here, which means we can now get you back over here. Can I have military access for you, please? Thank you. Saves us having to walk the entire way around. Okay, these armies can combine back together at their earliest convenience. And these guys... Wait for him, so we can currently build a full cavalry army. Because of the extra cavalry to infantry we've got here. Base value, Desert Legion valued. Expensive though. Maybe something to be careful about. Let's cancel this again because I want to conquer them later. Alright, now to finish off Zokka, preferably quickly, before any of our neighbors get any bright ideas about declaring on them. Looking at you, Sariand. A truce for now, but that will not last forever. Okay, they have 1k still hiding away, I assume somewhere up here. Will not be an issue for us. You can grab that. And then, yeah, that is them occupied. That would be quite enough. These guys. Bring you back. What is the requirement here? 3 regiments, but we are slightly below because of attrition. Okay. I gotta admit, when we first popped out of the Jadari as these handful of provinces down here, I thought it looked pretty grim for us, but now we do seem to have everything well under control. Alright. All the provinces ceded. All will get missionary strength and local missionary maintenance. We have 1 missionary. One's converted to it, and we get claim on Askaza and claim on Photographer. Hit it! Excellent. Alright, gather up the troops up here. Askaza is allied with Agdir. Both have 6k troops, so we could not care less. You guys are 31% war score, okay. Right, now we don't want to core any of this. We want to set our guy to converting. That's arrival. Photographer, Askaza, Edovasin. Sure, that suits us fine. Askaza, I mean, Edovasin, we probably want Oxala as a rival more. We'll be going after them. And learnings of an elder. 563. I'd love to get our mill up closer to the other 2, but we're going to be spending so many admin points on all that conquering. It really makes more sense to pick that. We can seize land. Okay, let's summon the diet. Base tax free, manpower level, base production. Province owned in Círdan. No allies, they're monstrous. They cost a total of 39% and they've got 6k troops. Yeah. Yeah, that will definitely be happening. I say definitely, let's just real quick check that nothing is asking us to be allies. Any of this area? What if I improved relation? All provinces own. Okay. Friendship is magic. I'm not sure what exactly the form this event will hold. So I'm a little leery of this. But we'll go for it. Now that they're all above 50, we can cease land. Let me just have a drink while we make our way north. Alright, how many troops do we have? We have 11 out of our 16. We have both the money and the manpower to bump this up further, so let's get a couple more. Free advisor slot, can't really afford that, especially when we're about to pay more army maintenance. That's how we look at here. Askazur, owned by us, has a fort, easy enough. Has been improved at least one time. We get another cheaper guy. We get 10k manpower and 7 army. Giving yearly tax income plus 12, so a ducat per month. And 6 land force limit. And we get okay, we want to do yes. Diplo is probably what we can afford to give away the most without caring. You and you. What else? Do it at least one time. Is that not what I just did? Okay. That. Some extra money. Lovely. Means we can afford to get this guy as well and still be in the green. Excellent. We probably have more force limit now. Yep, 22. Can't really afford to build all those units right now. Oh, I should probably read what the actual missions say as well, shouldn't I? After reading all that text in the middle, and now we're skipping over mission flavor text. While Zocca's son, now known as Zocca, follower of the sun, has become our friend, most of the gnolls that made up Zocca's old pack continue to be hostile to us. Celestia has told us that she desires Zocca to rule his gnoll pack in her name, and that peace and harmony in the Salahad is her goal. Zocca knows there is only one way to achieve this, and that is the complete subjugation of the packs and the utter destruction of their armies. Only then will they acknowledge her strength and accept her rule. Spreading the word, much of the Desert Legion now follows Celestia, but the days of engagements and defeats before her arrival in Bulbul have scattered the remnants across the eastern Salahad. Many remain unaware of the truth of the battle where Celestia revealed herself to us, and even believe us to be traitors to Jeddah and his beliefs. However, Andrelion knows the Legion well, and will certainly be able to convince them of our new leader's divinity once given a chance to. The Legion will become whole once more with Celestia leading its war against the darkness. The Cerusum Confederation, made up of the 7 tribes of the Mansi, has long inhabited the Salahat as desert nomads. Pivotal in helping the Legion establish itself, Jadar's former leadership of the tribes has unfortunately not extended to Celestia. The human tribes remain uneasy about her presence, but their support will be necessary in the times to come. Andrelion will meet with the tribes and ensure that their loyalty and faith in the Jad is replicated with Celestia, along with convincing them Celestia's place as Surya Reborn. Perhaps a show of good faith will win them over. Alright. What else do we need to be doing? Ilana's opinion of Celestia is at least 0, or has plus 90%. Enough improving with the command. No, the command are horrible. You never want to be on good terms with the command. Ah, the Zero Volt. 45k, 25k. I can only imagine that they're going to win. Because that's just kind of what a command does. We might get lucky, who knows. Okay, so this is in progress. We need to own Askazur and build a fort there, which is going to be difficult. We do not have the money. One of the funny must be true. Allied with the smartest, or they're a subject of ours. Oxala, no own provinces in the Bulwa region. Rafa, no own province in the Bulwa region. All province in the Desmartes area. One of the funny must be true. Owned by the smartest or owned by us or subjects. Desmartes area to Desmartes will become a friend state. They will revere Celestia as Surya Reborn. Celestia gets Desmartes friendship until the end of the game, giving shock damage and naval combat bonus off Coast. I think that's these guys? Yeah. Okay. Either allied with us or a subject. So we want to be improving relations with them. How do you feel about us by now? How close to an alliance are we? Not terribly close. We can revisit that matter in the future. For now, let's see here. We're all on Miltech 3. I've got lots of army professionalism. Lots of horses. There should be a war in our favor. It might be a little difficult to attack Sector itself, being a dwarven hold, but we'll give it our best shot. Make Baroness the Wargol co-belligerent Sector. We will annex Askazur and we will make the dwarves our vassals, which is always a good idea so that they can handle all of the in-mountain stuff. When I play in this region, usually as Círdan or Mulan, that's exactly what I do. You know, give Segdir like this side, and give Verkul Gulen like this, and then we get another subject over in the Tree of Stone. That tends to work out well. Okay, let's go in here and get them before they can flee into the mountain. Beautiful. Okay, they got just absolutely ruined right there. Bring one of our armies back. Where are you heading? Over here? I think not. Nice. Right, split up. Split up. Actually, you go over here. Grab that. Returning Serrani refugees. Welcome them back. This province will gain development and build a human population over time, and the culture and religion will change after human majority is present in the provinces. Devastation will increase each time. Will gain development. The culture and religion will change after human majority is present in the province. I wonder if this event, like the religion change event, takes the circumstances into account, or if it will try to change it to the Jad instead of Celestia worship. Either way, I think we're not going to displace the gnolls, even if it does give us death growth, and we do lose prestige here. I'd rather just leave the existing populations where they are. Yeah. It will be fine. Alright, how many do we need to take this? 3k. Z enough. This will be enough. What are you up to, Echo against Askazur? Well, I think not. Could vassalize them, make this a defensive war in our favor, but really, is there any reason to do so? Ariand is allied with Askavran and Lesnar, which does mean we probably don't want to be attacking them, because these two both at the same time is a lot. But considering how fast we're growing, it won't be a lot for very long. How far do our current claims reach? This over here and these guys down here. I'd love to steal mass, but I'm pretty sure that's a later tech, isn't it? Yeah, Diplotech 6. Can't quite do that yet. How much do you need? Only 3k. No reason for all of you to be taking attrition up there. We only need 3,000 troops. Like so. Keep them nearby and be ready to run back in there if they decide to counterattack. Well, Askazur can't, they have no troops and they've only got 2k, so we should be perfectly safe from any attempt at not repercussions, retaliation. Zocca separatists in 0.4 years. Unfortunately, we've not been able to get the overextension down terribly quickly. We're still doing our best on the conversions, but I think this might be the first one to go through so far. So not great, and this is 10k worth popping up. 17 and 16, 15 across the board is too high to do anything with. Harsh treatment for 76? No, I think not. I think we're basically just going to have to hope that we can do these sieges quickly. The rebels will cause some separatism, but that's not an issue because the event from the conversion will remove all separatism. Something old, something new. Ah, it's been 3 years. Learning something entirely new was hard. Farming a new crop, for example. Everything worked differently from what you were familiar with, and adjusting to those differences took time. It required a patient and dedicated mind to master more than one method without giving up in frustration. Learning about a whole new world was like that, but far worse. It had taken Celestia years to fully adjust to everything. There were new schools of magic now, divination and evocation that were all separate yet connected. There were new maps to study, new geographical locations to learn, races to remember, nations to engage in diplomacy with, statecraft. Well, that was still the same. And Celestia was fortunate to have friends like Andrelion and Zocca adept in military matters. Still, it was an entirely foreign universe with its own rules. But Celestia persevered. She read every tome and text she could get her hooves on, studied both history and legend alike. She memorized cities and bays, trade routes and rivers, deities and mortal. If it was something to know, she was determined to learn it, until her knowledge of Halan would rival that of Equestria. And now it almost did. No longer was she the confused pony staring out over the desert. Her magic had not yet fully returned to her, and her abilities as a mage of this realm still only resembled that of a young Abjura. That would likely change too, as she could finally turn her attention to finding a way home. For now, it was time to go out and experience this new world. Somewhere out there, Celestia knew that she would find a way back to Equestria. Whatever brought her here could certainly bring her back. And both the magic of this world and her own was no stranger to breaking the walls between dimensions. It was just a matter of finding it. The learning may have ended, but her adventures were just beginning. Alright. So we no longer get our Monarch Point penalty, which is delightful. We are also making good money, so yes, get me a more missionary strength. Hell yeah. Pension, religious unity, pop, harpy, active missionary, well, that will get. But notably, not separatism. Excellent. How long will we take on the convergence now? 13 months. Okay. 2, 2, 1, and then local modifier for Zocca Lane. And development, yeah. Not as high as it could be. I think in one game of vanilla E4 I managed to get up to something like 11 or 12 conversion strength as like Castile, I think. Castile into Spain. Very good run for going real heavy on the conversion. Okay, unfortunately we have to ignore these guys for a hot second. Alright, you're good. Get back down here. We did co-belligerent with these guys. We can separate peacedom as a vassal. Really? You're full occupied, aren't you? Why are you being annoying about it? I can just full annex both of them and then release Sector as a vassal. That way they'll also not have the opinion malices for having just been conquered. So that's actually better for us. You just check, you don't have any cause or claims or anything out here, do you? No. It would be annoying if it released more than I wanted it to. Alright, give me all that. Then release Sector. Ooh. Do I let them stay ancestor worship? I don't think I do. Then we go to subject interaction. Religion. We'll make them upset with us, but... What are they really realistically gonna do about it? Be upset. With relations. Okay. Rivals. Who is available? Ariand to look. What direction does the mission expect us to expand? Here. Down there. Here a little. Here a little more. Oh, here a lot. 200 provinces in the Bulwer super region. Religion is Celestia worship. What a thing to do. We pop into a new world and immediately go like, ah yes, I am the sun goddess and thou shalt all worship me. Between Sarian and Tulukt, it's better for us to deal with Tulukt first. How big are you? Almost small enough to take in one war. Does the AS Volt CB come with any... No, it doesn't tell us what if there's any reductions. We could go diplomacy for the province war score cost. I don't want both, but I think religious ideas first because it looks like our mission tree is going to care a fair bit about us converting people. Okay, now we need to save up money to build a fort here. How much do forts cost? 180. Okay. Yeah, next up is conquest to the south. How big are you guys? 41%, 46%, 7,000 troops, 6,000 troops, and you're a tech level behind. We're going to crush them. Absolutely crush them. bit of consolidate. There are some guys to unsiege that, and then you guys to fight them. This is going to take a while to fix. You have to. Why are you in debt? What are you doing down there? You own one dwarven hole. What are you? What are we up to over here, huh? Alan, you gain 1.6. I don't understand. The AI does mysterious things sometimes, and by sometimes I mean all of the time. It's worth keeping an eye out on how long I have to do this. 1466, okay, plenty of time. They're not going to go anywhere. They don't have anywhere to go, so it's not an issue. Can I complete this other mission by having Eliana not exist? Yes, I can. They're tiny, and their only ally is Morgan. And you're also all on like Tech 2. Alright, forget the Knolls for a second here. We're going to annex Círdan, and then we're going to annex both Eliana and Morgan. I prefer that approach to the improved relations approach. Gonna take a sip while we head over east. We are about to take a loan, as things stand. Because we're paying a whole bunch to reinforce the army. You're not going to get full up before this is done. Okay. Do I take one regular loan, or do I grab burger loan? 70 ducats. Let's just grab burger loans, use the money for the fort, and we'll make it back later anyway. So who cares? Okay. Build me a castle. Askazar is the correct province, yeah? Yes, Askazar. Owned by us, has a fort building, development at least 15. Ugh. Back to you on that one. Alright, you. Less AE for all that it really matters. And no tech behind, so whatever. Give me those monarch points. Base tracking all over the place. Attempt to settle this peacefully, it's not a place to intervene. 50 until 1454. Production, whatever. Have added. We need 3k this siege here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find me their army. Found and quite removed. Gonna have to chase them around a little. A problem there? Looking at this fantasy map has me thinking I've recently been catching up on the most recent season of Slime Tensei, reincarnated as a slime. That feels like it's a... Just looking at the kind of general vibe of Anbennar, Slime Tensei feels like it's a world that would function reasonably well ported over into EU4. Playing as Rimuro trying to establish a new nation. I'm not happy about that. Harsh treatment for 50. No, I would very much like to take build tech as soon as possible. We're just gonna have to ignore that guy over there until we can redirect the army. In Sarah's vision, oh, and a renaissance. Okay, this is part of the new stuff. Darkness. Ninsara was alone, seeing nothing around her, and it was cold, colder than any night she could remember in Bulwa. Never before had her divination spell shown anything like it. Had she committed some mistake in its preparation or casting? Her farsight had never failed her before. Then came the light. It shined brightly, illuminating all within its reach, not with the harsh glare of the desert, but with a warmth inviting the harpy to approach. And Sarah found herself kneeling before the light and saw others following suit beside her. Ara's wearing the Akalsesi crown, gnolls and elves and other harpies, all bowed before the light, which slowly took the form of a white-winged unicorn with an ethereal mane. Then Sarah's eyes shot open as she squawked, tumbling backwards. Ara's was by her side in a moment, a look of concern on her face. Then Sarah, what's wrong? She asked. What did you see? Surakel, the harpy whispered. Surakel reborn, and we stood kneeling before the light. Aras was stunned into silence as Ninsara got back up onto her talons. Surakel has returned, Aras, in the form of a white-winged unicorn, I am certain of it. A unicorn, Aras frowned, thinking for a moment. There have been rumors from the far Salahad of a winged unicorn who arrived with Sanagir. You think that this is Surakel? Sanagir's presence makes it certain, Aras. I believe that this is our destiny. We have been chosen to unify Harpykind and Bulwa under our wings in service of Surakel. Aras' eyes lit up with hope for a few moments before it disappeared under steely determination. Then a divine duty has arrived, she said, grabbing her spear. We must prepare at once. Send a messenger eastward to find this unicorn they speak of. I am certain Surakel will ensure our rule over Bulwa will come to fruition. We must be ready to act when the time is right. And Sarah nodded and spread her wings ready to take flight. May the light of Surakel guide us, sister, and may the light illuminate our path. Bulwa will soon know peace. Akalsis, they will revere Celestia Asura Reborn, gains 200 opinion of us. And so then. Hang on. These guys? And Saturn, yeah. And Akalsis, one of Varama's vassals. What? That feels a little random. For a moment I was like, oh, is this something with Eliana? And we shouldn't be going conquering over here in the east? But no, it's these guys? Really? You do follow the new sun cults, which is about the same stuff, I suppose. I mean, literally the phoenix is the symbol of so many of the nations around here. It makes sense. Alright. Aras the air over here? And Ninsara. I didn't know that there was any lore about these two being close, because normally because of Ayarel and Varama being enemies, obviously their subjects would be enemies. Ordering each other, so all these guys are basically harpy and elf/human mirror of each other. Oh, we'll soon know peace. I'm fascinated how this is going to progress over time. Interesting. The spread of the faith is going pretty well over here. Let's continue. They still in debt? Very good. Continue to have little fights with these guys and just take a drink. We have converted heretics. And the smartest likes us as much as they possibly can. They will not accept vassalization. Economic base, distance between borders, not the same religious group. Difference in government rank, military power, friendly attitude. Okay, we'll maintain a diplomat for now and see if we can improve that later. Sure, give us some mercantilism, why not? Oi, where do you think you're going? But this works out fairly well. We can finish this siege and start sieging down other provinces, and then beat this army and have them retreat over here once these guys have sieged up a few more. Promoted to January. Plain Touch Commander. Promising new soldier has been making waves in the military, using their unique, powerful plain touch powers to destroy their foes and command loyalty. Nice. 4552. I think he's actually better? Yeah. Wow. State needs some money or stability costs. And prestige. The state needs some money. Despite taking those loans, we're shockingly low on funds. Don't like that state of affairs. Win this siege already, thank you. You can grab him. And you can grab them. We have generals to spare. Let's take a quick glance. Is there anywhere we need to be? Right, this land. We need to be actually coring. Because this does not benefit from the convert, or does it? Yeah, only former Zocca provinces. You. And we can't because we're halfway through building a castle. My bad on that one. Oh, there wasn't even an army left to try and retreat over here. Then let's have these guys stand ready westwards, where we're expecting the rebel uprising in 1.2 years, really. Gain some military, nice. We've gotten lucky only getting the positive events so far, because you can get events where your old aging leader starts going senile. Okay, I made a mistake not paying attention over here. We've been looking properly. These guys all in here. And so this is gonna take half a year. A moment ago it was 1.2 years. Very well. Do I need to full occupy you before you will surrender? No. Great. Give me all that. Finish this. We can improve a center of trade. Expensive. I shouldn't have done that right before we need to pour a bunch of land. That was kind of silly of me. Okay, pour what you can. Leave the rest. Start heading over here. We have no manpower at all. Not a great position to be. Head right into that province and we're going to just provoke a revolt if they haven't popped by the time we get there. You're still on 93%, that's going to take a while it seems. Conversions continue apace. Nice. Yeah, and we'll call that. There we go, at last. Alright. More rebels. Where are the other ones? Askazor separatists. that castle is almost finished building. Frankly, we don't really have to care about those guys if we've got a castle over there. I'll keep them occupied for a good long while. There we go. Now this can be cored. We can Diplotech. What are we missing? 15 dev. Ugh. Castle Suite Castle. It's on 8 and we're just about to take text. That will just have 8. Okay. Diana. Allied with Mulan, not allied with anybody else. Miltech 2 all around. So let's bring them here, join up our armies again, and get into the next fight. In fact, let's declare on Mulan for the anti-Monstrous Conquest and co-belligerent them. We can just take these 3 provinces and then head up. Yeah, you can feel free to mess around over there. Thanks to the castle, I don't really have to worry about them. Those castles prevent an increase in separatism from provinces being occupied by rebels. Is a lovely, lovely feature. Okay, cool. Let's give me both of these leaders and then send you up here. If we can get there before they've got a chance to recover a bunch of morale, might be able to just clobber them. Oh, okay, the dwarves are trying to get in my way. Don't you bloody dare. Let them in. Who are we dealing with? Human. Sure. I mean, we're playing as Celestia. Is there really any way we could... land morale and military attack. Delightful. Is there really any way we could justify excluding people from the Empire? We're playing a Jad successor state as Celestia. Let's combine you together, consolidate, and then send the least amount of troops over to here, just to hold that province, so that we don't get any troops being built over here while we finish up the siege here. I can probably tidy this up a little as well. These 0k stacks don't need to be sitting here eating extra attrition as well. After this last bit of warring, I mean, we maybe go after Merkel Gulen as well, and then maybe just take a second to sit back and be at peace, so that we can recover a little bit of manpower in between. This 5 stack and then almost 6 stack. We've got a huge military advantage, so we should be able to just clobber them. Should be expensive. Because they keep going back and forth. Mulan should get hit by the troops once I annex Eleana and they become rebels. Okay, this now is a problem. The walls have been breached, and if that fort goes down, then we have to go and retake it, and it becomes a whole big hassle. How long are you going to complain? Or like a year plus? We can't afford to... Okay, it's on 7%. We're not going to reach over there anyway. In which case, let's just ignore it. Pretend it's not happening. We'll focus on the war over here. Minus 16... Should I just take the fight? 7,000 troops against 10 plus thousand shouldn't be a battle I take, but I'm too Miltech. They're not even willing to try and fight me. What's our strength? Oh, give me some fort defense to slow this down. As much difference as it will make. These are all mountain provinces, so it's not even like I can take a favorable engagement. Alright, commit. Worst case scenario, I have them so close to occupied that it won't even matter. Go. Finish those armies off. You come over here. Okay, we now have 3,000 troops in practice, which is absolutely nothing. For that. I haven't started coring all the land up here yet, have I? Most of it. We really, really, really need to stop for a second. Okay, you will insist upon me fully sieging you down. The black flagged over here? Wait, what were you doing? And who is this? Who's expanding in there? Mission fulfilled, a meeting at Equestria. The Desert Legion is unified and fully stands with Celestia in her quest to bring the light to the Salahad. But the harpy flock of Eliana, led by the former wife of Jeddah himself, Jadian, remains skeptical and even outright hostile to Celestia. We cannot blame her for such in these difficult and often confusing times, nor for having seized control of Equestria in the wake of Jeddah's disappearance, and Celestia has made it clear that she has no intention of bringing the Harpies back into the fold by force. Oops. Diplomacy and a hesitant meeting at Equestria in honor of Jeddah will hopefully set things right. I very much did bring them back into control by force. Am I going to... Okay, we don't release them, it looks like. Equestria, the holiest site for all the Jad, and a place where Suriel had revealed his truth to Jeddah. Celestia was no stranger to the symbolic importance of such places. Back home, the Griffins treated their mountain of Solar Spike as the birthplace of Griffinkind with similar reverence. It was only here that Jeddah's wife, the harpy Jasian, had agreed to meet her in honor of her presumed late husband. Jeddah's body was never found. The elders of the Legion had searched for countless days and nights for their former leader, perhaps even with the hope he would still be alive somewhere in the desert of Salahad. But all attempts to find him had been fruitless. He had simply vanished without a trace, leaving many to believe Celestia's arrival was a miracle from Suriel wrought by Jeddah's dying breath. In honor of that sacrifice, a ceremony would be held at the peak of Equestria. There were speeches, of course. A great crowd had gathered to listen to those who had known the elf closest. Andrelian spoke of his great talents as a warrior of the light, of his ceaseless struggle to continue Suriel's work, his tireless devotion to the crusade against the dark, which he fought to his last moment. Cassian spoke of his life as a devoted husband, a caring and inspiring father who taught that everyone has a role in Suriel's work and is worthy of his blessing. How he brought people of all races together to change the world for the better and inspired all around him to do the same. Jeddah's daughter, the harpy Jadaressa, tried to say something but only managed to fly off her ears. Celestia listened with rapt attention, learning of the one who for many she had taken the place of. Finally, it was her turn. She had no words to say, no story to tell, but Andrelian had asked her to play a part in the ceremony, and she had reluctantly obliged. Stepping forward, her horn glowed with golden magic as she lit the flames which burned with brilliant light in front of all the crowd. It needed no fuel or guardian, for as long as Celestia drew breath, it would continue to burn of its own accord. The elves and humans all lowered their heads in respect before reciting a prayer to Suriel and then dispersing to talk amongst themselves. "It is time," Andrelian said as he approached Celestia. "Cassian wishes to speak with you. I shall remain nearby if you have need of me." Celestia nodded. Okay, we gain a core on that province, it changes to Celestia worship, and gains a Celestia worship center of reformation. Hello? Alright, nice. Nice, nice, nice. I wonder how big the range is. And what it will convert. Is it going to convert High Philosophy, the Jad, the Hunt? What all does it apply to? I'm curious. Of harpies and horses. Gassienne watched as the one named Celestia approached her, the mountain winds blowing through her feathers. You remind me of him in some way, she began once Celestia stopped in front of her. You lack his resolve, but your eyes show the same compassion he had. Thank you, the Anacorn replied. I am truly sorry your husband. From what you and others speak of him, he was an elf like very few creatures I've ever met. There was none quite like him, yes, I still miss him dearly. Sighing, Jassienne looked instead to a fading sun. But he did not want Sural's work to revolve around him alone. Andrelion speaks the truth about you, Sural Reborn, and I know that he would have been honored for you to continue his mission to spread the light across Talan. The flocks of Eliana will stand by your side. Celestia joined Jassienne at the cliff edge. I will do my best to honor his memory. Will Generessa be returning soon? I would like to speak to her as well. Not while you are still here. She blames you for Jadar's disappearance. Her father meant the world to her. Just hope she does not stray too close to the flocks of Círdan again, for they would not hesitate to capture her if given the chance. They still follow the old ways of the hunt. That is unfortunate. Such needless conflict is always regrettable. The pony stood up and spread her wings. I will go find your daughter and make sure she is safe. Even if she is not in any danger, I wish to apologize to her as well. The harpy nodded, and the former princess leapt off the cliff face to soar above the desert. As Celestia faded into the distance, Jassienne pondered what Celestia meant by her. The fighting between flocks was not needless. Every matriarch dreamed of one day uniting the eastern harpies with the Salahad. Perhaps she desired an end to the disunity? New Jadar intended to one day bring the light of Sural to the remaining harpies, so why would Celestia not as well? Andrelion, the elf quickly walked over upon being called. Inform the Legion that Celestia desires war with the flocks to the north. It is time for them to finally find Sural's light. We're getting into Overlord territory of course, this is what our Lord desires. Eliane will become our friend state. They will revere Celestia in a permanent claim. Whoops. There will be no such thing. The prodigal daughter. Generessa did not know where she was, and she did not care, not since she learned of her father's disappearance. Months had been spent searching, flying above the far Salahad, trying to find any trace of him against her own mother's wishes. But the elves of the Legion were right, there was nothing to be found. He was gone, and in his place was that thing that dared show its face at his memorial. Something moved behind her, and within seconds Generessa had drawn an arrow and fired. It struck the rock mere millimeters from Celestia's head. I didn't miss, the harpy threatened as she readied her bow again. Leave. I know you didn't, the pony said softly. She did not leave. Instead, Celestia sat down, remaining where she was. I am sorry about your father. Generessa did not lower the bow. No, you aren't, she said bitterly. The Legion calls you Sural Reborn. They told me you saved them when my father was at the edge of defeat, but I know he would never lose to Zoka. You might have fooled all of them, but you haven't fooled me. She threw down her bow as her voice rose with emotion. So what did you do with him, and where is he? I do not know. Liar, the harpy shrieked. I don't care who you are or what you're doing. You're not him. You're not my father, and it's your fault that he's not here. Her emotions finally giving out, Generessa fell on her knees sobbing. Celestia did not move, only watching as tears poured forth onto the rocks below. A warm wind came up to wipe them from Generessa's face, but it wasn't her own. Looking up in surprise, she saw a phoenix looking up at her with concerned eyes. Sarangir? She mumbled, her voice still broken. It was even more beautiful than she imagined. Celestia stood up. I know I can never truly make things right for you, Jitteressa, he said with regret. If there was anything I could do to bring your father back, I would, but not even my magic can do that. The only thing I can do now is honor his legacy as best as I can. Celestia paused. Philomena, can you stay with her until she returns to her mother? The phoenix nodded. Celestia launched herself skyward, slowly flying back towards Iwatsutu. And as Samagir, or rather Philomena, nuzzled against Jeddaressa's feathers, she couldn't help but feel the void left by her ever so slowly start to close. Alrighty. Big lore events. I'm curious if there will be more things in here. Okay. Friend state down there, so we will see what the mechanics for that are, even if we didn't with the harpies. Because this mission, yeah, either we're allied with them or they're a subject of ours. There is no provision here for them to not exist. We have to make them a friend state. So we're going to find out what that does. I've just noticed this mission here is not actually connected to anything above, so what does this need? 10 regiments present, 10 regiments present. Ah. For these two who have converted. I wonder if something was done in a mod to make it so that their overlord doesn't enforce religion? I don't actually know for sure whether the AI can enforce religion on subjects. I don't know that I've ever seen them do so. They have 50 opinion of us or 90 opinion from improved relations and 25 from sent gift. They will comment object of cancel it. Oh, if get a Ranchulin. These guys over here. And Kumakan, the Aravarama subject. The Khalsas will revolt against Varama with our help? Ah. Province war score cost, morale damage received, toils of a true faith, envoy travel time. I hope that we didn't miss out on cool modifiers for not having... Ah, there it is. Land attrition, Diplo relations, movement speed. Oh. Oh. Do I release them? Do I release them to get this? Land attrition, Diplo relations, movement speed. It's not a huge amount of provinces. Will it even count? Owned by Eliana. Oh, these missions don't even work for subjects. Huh. So there's a proviso here for them to not exist, but then for this they have to be there. Okay, well... Oh, and they need to own all of this. All the way up to the north. So I'm wasting my points here coring this. Okay, just in case I'm misunderstanding any aspect of this, let me save real quick. And then... Alright, cancel this. Cancel these. Much as we can. Cancel all that, then as soon as we finish this siege over here, we'll release them and then give them the land and see if that triggers the thingy. Okay, well what about these, like... I guess these guys aren't being integrated yet, but what if Sariand attacks them or something like that? Can I get access through Sariand? No. Which means I probably need to go to war with them so that I can get up here and get my dudes over there. I also need to deal with them sooner than later before they actually manage to declare independence again. Repay. So close to having money. if this pop-up sticks around for long enough. 1 more month. Diplo power prestige. River prestige. Ow! And it went away. Let them in. Always going to be the option we pick. Come on. Take the siege. How's this trying to rebel? Many separatists. That thing is putting in work. We're converting so quick. There we go. Finally got that. Money and full annexed. Now, release you guys. They will follow Celestial worship. They will copy. Oh, they have kept the color. They're only listed as a vassal, not as a thingy. I'm pretty sure we've messed something up somewhere along the way by doing things this way. Following vassals, Diana and Equestria. Still very upset. Okay, anyway, for the mission we need to give them like everything up in the north. Alright. I'm gonna save again. In case I give them a province, so I can quickly roll back. You, Grand Province. The fact that both of our countries are the same shade of pink does not really make this easier. Huh? Trying to see the correct provinces. Right, is that all of them? Yes. Gina gets improved fortifications, Mamian gets improved fortifications, Ileana is no longer monstrous, and we get Ileani friendship. Right. The will of Celestia and Vassad of Suriel has been made clear. The Seadunian Harpies must be unified under the guiding light and wings of Matriarch Jessian. Theodan and Mulan must fall so that they can learn the truth of Celestia's light and of her rule. Once they learn the value of friendship and harmony, we are certain they will willingly embrace our savior and follow her just as we do. The vibe of this as an event is kind of funny, because the only other April Fool's event that I know of that the EAW team have done was the one for Twilight Sparkle, where she just goes absolutely insane, which is really funny, but also she goes like full evil dictator, brutality and murder and tyranny, and now here we have Celestia spreading the light of Suriel as a benevolent ruler. LA friendship, land attrition, political relations, movement speed. Neat. How many of these do we get? Because 1, 2, 3, 4 is already going to be fairly busted. Every country in Bulba that follows New Sun Cult or Celestial worship will be integrated by Celestia unless they are friend state. That might integrate them, because we haven't made them a friend state properly. Should I untrigger this mission and then click it again, so that we get them events again? That's an option. Hang on. This is why I don't launch modded runs in Iron Man mode. You never know what's gonna go wrong, whether it's your fault or because of how the mod works. Debug mode, and then mission Celestalia meeting to tube. Two. In core, yeah, that happens. Will become a friend state. There we go. Ileana is a friend state. What does that mean though? What modifiers do they get? Is it like a regular vassal? Is it like a independent vassal that can declare its own wars? Do they get the same modifiers as a march? Wow. They're now the correct vassal type. They've got all the land they're supposed to, no land that they're not supposed to. The rule and heir are different, but frankly that wasn't going to matter in the long run anyway. And we still have the modifier. Yeah, alright, everything is fixed. Hopefully I can deal with these rebels with so few troops. We are really, really low on manpower. These are mountains. Let's take the favorable mountain fight. Yeah, between our general and the mountain modifiers and stuff. No. Probably a problem to try and actually take that. Let's just siege these down while we recover a little bit of manpower. Okay, where else still needs to be poured? These places are all former Zocca land. They will come to us in time of their own accord. This... question of full coring. Zocca lands. Zocca... and Zanzibar is also Zocca and about to become out properly. Hey. We're making decent progress on getting all that land integrated. I think on the whole that mission reward hasn't made it easy per se to integrate all that land, but it has helped us a bit. I think it's been a net positive. Oh god, 3k is not enough. Oh, we need 6k to do anything with those provinces. Okay. Well, our rate of manpower recovery will go up as we integrate more provinces properly. I'd love to declare on you next, but neither I nor my vassals are in a position to do that. Turn a blind eye? No, we gain 2 corruption if we do that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, it was him? I didn't even look. Oh, that sucks. Morale, reinforce speed, for defense. Let's take some morale. Why not? Might be able to pay off that loan as well? Yeah. Cool. Debt free. Who wants to rise up now? Okay, our subject has rebels. Hopefully, you can deal with that yourself once you recover some manpower. Take another drink. It's the last of my wash. This still needs deving. We need to conquer all of their stuff. Yeah, 10 regiments. Oh, and so see here. Here come the problems. Are Nancelin and Acalsis even going to exist anymore by the time we get over here? Hard to say. Acalsis and Nancelin, the other two would become subjects of those, so if this and this goes, it doesn't matter so much. A regiment. 4 will become a friend state. Lestalia has 30 spy network on Aaralin. Goranian will break free. Running the defenses for defenseless. Alright, even if they get occupied, we should be able to just release them, and then it will be fine. Even if their like overlords don't exist anymore for them to revolt against, we should still be able to do this. Owns, I have subject own. We do definitely need them to exist though. Never a fan of that in a mission tree when it depends on AI nations doing or not doing certain things. Because they're so far out of your control and you can get completely screwed over before you'd ever even have the chance to do anything about it. The institution is nowhere even remotely close to us. I suppose we can try to dev it in Askazur, since we need to dev here anyway. It is farmland. Only 9 dev. We don't need to be taking tech at the moment. Yeah, once we've conquered Askazur back, we're gonna dump these points into here and there. We need to get that 6k troops rather quickly. Once we've conquered Askazur back, we'll dev it a bunch. Form the institution, complete our mission in the process. 15 months. We should definitely have the troops and be able to take that back before 15 months. Yes. You are completely incapable of defending that. We don't have any manpower, so this is free. Like dear. Maxed out relations and they still don't like her. Gain 1 corruption, no. 10 prestige. You lose 10 prestige. 86. We don't really have nearly enough to placate them properly, so just deal with it, I guess. Come on, 5.6. How long is it going to take to get us up to the 6k we need to do this? This should stop ticking down once we're sieging it. But I'm not liking the uncertainty on that should in my own mind. So, okay, just gonna sit on there to verify that it's correct, and it is. More land has been converted. Excellent. We can enact a government reform. Constructing churches and cathedrals increases clergy loyalty, tolerance of the true faith, manpower recovery speed, very appealing. Sailors, not interested. Devotion, national focus cooldown, not interested. Merchant and trade power is nice. Missionaries, fort defense, prestige for development from missionary. Give me that, absolutely. Stacking missionary strength modifiers is one thing. And it's good, but it's actually not that hard in the grand scheme of things. As I said before, in some vanilla runs, I've gotten somewhere like 12, 13, 14% missionary strength. What is much more difficult is increasing the amount of missionaries you have. There's not a whole lot of ways to go about that. It looks like these guys might be fully gone. cause will remain for more than long enough for us to go and do something about it, though. Is this another? Yeah, more rebels in my subjects' lands. This is what 4 provinces, so they've got control. They're just not very good. Alright, we can seize land 45. We have to take another proposal on the agenda. Dev is easy. Is it in? It's not in. There's a manpower, no. Trade power, Najad C. Windsculpt Pass, no. Order Aldrasia, Opinion, okay, no, we're not doing any of that. We'll dev this province sometime in the far future. Seize land. Wait for this to core, and then dev it. 1148, okay, we don't have to worry so much about that. Sir, the lingering war. With peace and freedom today are worth uncertainty tomorrow. The command will become the command Sarah 11 will become capital lose 10 legitimacy, white peace with all revolters. Well, that's terrible. Anbennar is still existing, but it's only 1458. Still plenty of time for them to completely fall apart. Ideally, I would like you rebels to engage on my armies in one of these mountain provinces. Are you inclined to do so at all? Oh, yes, good. Oh, can we reinforce in time? We can. There we go, rebellion dealt with. Governed, no, that will be dealt with on its own. Alright, Azkazur. Then let's get this, let's get these. Give me encourage development. And let's spawn the institution. Oh, this is going to take up all of our points. In fact, we might not even have enough, depending. No, we should have enough. Should have. I'm going to use more Diplo points than anything else because they're just not as valuable. There we go, and then as soon as possible we will switch that over to spreading. Castle Sweet Castle. During that time together, Celestia has spoken at length to her friends about the world she used to reside in, and her home city of Canterlot. There stood a mountain known as the Canterhorn, where she looked out over her country of Equestria for a grand and magnificent palace, built by only the finest crafts ponies. Much nostalgia has been placed upon that story and the castle she once called home. Clearly she desires a palace her equal in measure, and we shall deliver it for her. A new castle in Azkazur, overlooking the Confluence Temple and the Suran River, shall prove suitable for her needs. Alessia trotted through the halls of her new castle, a look of wonder on her muzzle. It was not as grand as Canterlot was, perhaps. This place did not have the stained glass murals or the grand halls of a great city which countless other ponies called home. But that was not a fair comparison. The home in Equestria had seen almost 1,000 years of constant renovation and self-improvement. This was built in less than 3 years, and already had tapestries depicting the adventure she had gone on. Her meetings with Andrelian and Zoka, who walked beside her, her arrival above the battlefield in the Salahad, all crafted in exquisite detail. Then the doors ahead of her opened and everything else instantly faded away. The throne was already impressive, crafted just like her old one but stylized in Bulwari traditions. But it was the view, the one just past the balcony, that took her breath away. Below sat the Confluence Temple, newly restored and improved upon at the banks of the Suran. Close by was the city of Askazur, similar to how Celestia remembered looking down upon Ponyville from Canterlot. Further beyond the Suran was farmland as far as the eye could see, and perhaps a small village or two dotting the landscape if one was perceptive enough to catch them. And in the far horizon one could see the rising sun in the east, creating brilliant orange hues across the sky. "It's beautiful," Celestia whispered as she stepped out close to the railing. Philomena was nearby. They had crafted a perch between two of the support pillars just for her. "I've never seen anything like it." "It is quite a view, isn't it?" Andrelian said behind her. The Serani had planned to build a site here for many years, but simply never had the crowns. Zucker seemed hesitant to step out into the sunlight. "My father would want to burn this all to the ground," he said, finally taking a place next to Celestia. "I do enjoy looking at it." Celestia didn't respond. She seemed almost entranced by the view. "I wonder what other wonders there are to see in this world," she said quietly. "What things I have never seen before that I cannot even imagine." Zucker and Andrelion shared a glance before backing away, quietly leaving the room, leaving Celestia alone. Edis Maduro in all its glory. The religion Askazur changed to Celestia worship. Province gains a Celestia worship center of reformation. I shouldn't have bloody enforced religion on these guys. It would have happened naturally. Askazur loses the conditional modifier as a master. Askazur gets Edis Maduro until the end of the game, giving missionary maintenance cost minus 15%. A pittance of money, but nice to have. And Askazur becomes the new capital. Excellent. I think it's a better spot than this random piece of desert down here. In the event a royal problem happens, oh no. The throne room was not the only place in Celestia's new castle, of course. There was another, a place below with a round table and enough chairs for all of Celestia's closest advisors to sit and discuss the matters of Celestalia, along with Celestia herself, of course. Only Zocca and Angelium were present, taking a seat on either side of where Celestia was to sit. Both remained silent for a few minutes. Celestia seemed pleased by this place, Andrelion began, but I have never seen her act so strange. Perhaps some sort of foul magic is at work here. Zocca shook his head. No magic from a human or elf would affect Celestia, he disagreed. I believe she is not satisfied with only Edis Maduro. She desires more than just this place. More? More, the Gnoll pointed to the map of Bulwa on a nearby wall. She spoke of other wonders, places such as this one. What else could it mean except a request for the other temples? My father sought to ruin the ruin of all of Bulwa, and his ambitions were nowhere near what Celestia are. Both creatures stared at the map. The borders of Celestalia were clearly defined on it in beautiful pink, while the lands beyond remained empty. Edis Vassin is the next closest temple, Andrelion provided. But their priests are stubborn. They had refused to see Jaher as Suriel reborn in the past. If they refuse to see Celestia as the same, then we shall follow in Jaher's footsteps. The pack has sacked the city twice, and we will gladly breach the walls a third time for Celestia. Zucker stood up to leave, but not before turning back to the elf. But this time we shall leave the city intact in her name, just as Jaher did for Suriel. Celestia has made her orders clear, and the pack is friendship bound to honor her command. And Relion raised an eyebrow but said nothing as Zucker walked out, closing the door behind him. I love this. I was expecting, as I said, a blood and horror kind of mission tree in the vein of Twilight Sparkle descending into madness, but honestly, Celestia just being her regular self while everyone around her is like, clearly she desires us to conquer the world. The way it is an overlord with Eins, it's fantastic. One temple is good, but two is always better. Yes, give me permanent claims, absolutely. This land, alright. Sariand is a little strong for us, perhaps. Idavasin, Harklem, Erliam, Varamar. Erliam, 11k, and they've still got all their subjects. You want to wait for the Thunderdome, right? The Bulbar Thunderdome, for anyone who doesn't know, is a thing that will happen later on. Ah, now Varamir has taken them, which means we will have to release them. Okay. Yeah, the Bulbar Thunderdome is one of the most fun parts about playing in this region to begin with. And also a fantastic opportunity for invasion when it happens. Baron has entered into a treaty of support independence of our disloyals. I'm sure that will go great for you. For the time being, this is kind of out of reach. These guys are a little difficult to attack. Askazo has a mage tower and Celestia has increased their proficiency in a magic school. Okay, I suppose we do have the resources at this point. Abjuration. What does Abjuration actually give us? Wards, Field of Freedom, Field of Forbidden. No. We don't need to make Celestia a Lich or anything like that. Morale of Army, shock damage, siege magic, but we can cast siege magic through our estate. I'll still do it. Let's study Invocation. Spend more power or 72 crowns. Spend more money. There we go. Establish for Zimakaris. Flying carpet. Of heaven. We will lose access to the Battle Mage Academies probably. Rebuild the Golden Highway. We are far from having that kind of resources. Alright, so this is being seen to. We will need to build a Mage Tower, which is a manufactory, so very expensive. A second temple requires conquest of a land we can't really afford to attack right now. This is all that. Okay, so it's gonna have to be these guys, yeah? Oh, one of you is doing much better than the other. 4 mil tech, 2 mil tech. Nolocast and Cographer. 30,000 troops, mil tech 4. We're not in a place where we can afford to be attacking them yet. I have to, at the very least, spend like a couple years recovering manpower. Who might be exposed towards ally? Really no one, it seems. Oh! Oh! Oh? Oh dear. Who all have you brought in? Hector, Azkaban, Sarian, Zanzibar. The Sarian, its vassals. God, 6,000 troops and 16,000 men. 9k, 4, 5, 5, 7, 9, and then the independent. Okay, 13,000, 12,000. Oh god, it's gonna be so expensive to win this. Grant independence to Sectia, will cede Elysian to Sarian. Bad, released Alzana. Enter Overlord of Ariana? No, absolutely not. Wow. Terrible peace deal. Oh, God. Well, that's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to fight, but I think we've basically got no other choice. At the very least, they're tiny, and this fort is under our control, so I can gather my mercenaries, quickly attack them, siege them down, and then we just have to keep Sariand in check until the full occupation enforced peace happens. We can take this off Sariand in the process. I don't like it, but with the loans we can take, we should be able to fully enforce this. Alright, in the meantime, we're coming up on a bit past 2 hours. My throat is a little strained from the talking, having not streamed in a while, so perhaps this is a good time to call it. This April Fool's update is supposed to go away at some point. So I've heard a few people say that the April Fool's content will become a submod you can install, in which case I'll continue playing on that if it's not available anymore by next week. Otherwise, I will just find wherever someone has downloaded it, and then I can play it from the backup. I don't know if it's on the Bitbucket release. I've got the latest Bitbucket version of Anbennar as well, and if it is on there, then I can just play it off there without updating my version, and then we won't have any problems. For now, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the stream, and I will see you again next time.